Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. In a press release from the Office of North Hopkins Independent School District Superintendent Dr. Darren Jolly, the district announced that a now former employee has been arrested for communicating with a student through electronic media in violation of North Hopkins Independent School District policies and regulations. The district instituted an investigation with both Child Protective Services and Hopkins County Sheriff's Office into allegations regarding Ms. Janie Perez, age 30. Perez was arrested for improper relationship between educator and student. She was booked into Hopkins County Jail and bond set at $20,000. The press release states that late in the afternoon of Friday, November 2nd, the district received a report that a North Hopkins Independent School District employee had been observed communicating with a student through electronic media in violation of the school policies and regulations. The district immediately instituted an investigation into the allegations that very evening. Due to the nature of some of the information that was brought to their attention, administrators reported that alleged behavior to both CPS and Hopkins County Sheriff's Office. The administration then met with the accused employee on Sunday, notified her of the investigation and the allegations and concerns that had been brought forth, and also notified her that she had been placed on suspension without pay. She submitted her resignation.
These prices are going to continue to rise as time continues. So what this means is currently, as far as street maintenance goes, we have about $560,000 a year based on our current CIP budget and what we're left with street maintenance. If we're trying to get to every street in the city every 15 years with an overlay, it means we'd have to overlay about 6 miles a year. And based on our current funding, we're anticipating to get about 2.1 miles, which is about a third of what is necessary. So if you're looking at it on an annual basis, we're touching about 2% of our street network every year. Which means in about 43 years, we'd be able to come back and overlay another street again. So that obviously isn't going to stay in line with trying to maintain the streets, which means we're going to have to be rebuilding more streets as we do not get to the preventative maintenance.
In a unanimous vote of the Silver Spring City Council, they passed on first reading an ordinance regarding street maintenance fees. A monthly fee of $5 will be added to single-family residents' water bill and a monthly fee of $3.75 to the monthly fee for multifamily residents, which will generate $467,000 for street improvements during the first year. The council also approved on first reading an ordinance that will expand the extraterritorial jurisdiction to include all of the Luminant mine property only. City Manager Mark Maxwell made his monthly report to the council.
The Crosstown Trail is moving along. The Capital Construction Division installed another 600 feet or so of sidewalk. Parts of it along Coleman Dam, parts around Peavine Pinion, and parts at the high school, totaling 596 feet. And they've also installed the flashing lights at Main Street, which are operational, but I would caution the public, and I'd like the press to report this. The driving public has not become acclimated to them yet, and it's going to take a little enforcement before we see compliance. So I would ask for caution as you use those lights across Main Street. Sunset Street, you'll see later on tonight, we opened bids for materials on the project of the 5 bid packets, 5 different groups of items, and we only had successful bids on 2 of them. We're going to have to rebid the remaining 3. At the wastewater plant, what you see in the photo is one of the new aeration basins. It's the first one to be constructed. It's still in the process. Another one will be constructed adjacent to it. And when those 2 are done, we will take all of the other aerators offline so we can refit them with diffused air aeration. And once all of that is completed, it will greatly increase our aeration capabilities in the plant, and that is the heart of the plant. So when that is done, we'll be very, very comfortable in meeting our permits. We expect all of the work out there to be done by January or February of 2020. Work on Conley Street will begin soon. We just bought materials for the sewer main, and we'll start with that first. We had 2 minor workers' compensation claims in November. Neither one resulted in any lost time. We did not receive any liability claims. And Lisa, do you have the monthly report on revenues?
Those of us who live in Sulphur Springs feel we have a pretty good school system here, Sulphur Springs ISD. So does high school principal Derek Driver. He's going to tell us about some upcoming events, including this Friday's Veterans Day program at the school.
Well, obviously, we've gotten off to a great start. Our activities and extracurricular and sports groups have done outstanding. Football team has already clinched their playoff spot with their last district game Friday. Our band got a 1 again. Several choir kids advancing in their competitions, as well as volleyball having a good year. Cross country had a young man, Landon Thornton, ran in the state meet on Saturday in Round Rock. Again, great year so far, academically as well as extracurricular wise. Got our big FFA auction coming up in a few weeks.
Yes.
Moved it to the fall from the spring, so we're really excited about that change.
That's great.
Also, we've had something the kids have really liked. We've had some food truck Fridays where the food trucks come in, do a little fundraiser for student council, and lots of people have helped that make it be successful at the high school. Ms. Monk, Mr. Williams, 2 of our assistant soups did a lot of positive work for us, as well as our student council, to get it all set up. And our food service has been very cooperative in allowing us to do that. So it's been a big team effort over there.
Yes, and the kids do get excited about that.
Very excited, very excited. The lines are long. We've made some adjustments along the way, but again, it's been a wonderful experience, and we are allowed to have it in our plan about 4 more times. So we look forward to having that 4 more times before the school year's out.
Wonderful. Yes, we are proud of our Wildcats in every little thing that they do, little and big. All kinds of different sports offered through Sulphur Springs ISD.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. As I mentioned earlier, football is rolling along with Coach Owens and his group of young men. Volleyball completed a very successful season. Coach Hicks had a great season with cross country, and we're looking forward to basketball season with a new girls basketball coach, Coach Tisdale, as well as Coach Sipp, continuing the boys tradition. He's created a great culture over there, and look forward to great things during basketball.
Do we have a fishing team?
We have we've off and on, we've had some kids involved in fishing.
Okay.
It is not necessarily, it is a club, not a UIL sport, but we do have some kids that have competed. We've had the sponsor was at the middle school, and we're currently looking for a full-time sponsor for that. We've had a couple teachers involved in that, but yes, we do have a few kids that are involved in that, and obviously we're looking for any opportunities that can interest our students.
Great to know. And so you have been Sulphur Springs High School principal for 4 years now.
Yes, this is my 4th year.
Where did you come here from?
I came here from Itasca, which is a small school south of Fort Worth on I-35 West. So before that, I was a principal a couple other places. Started my teaching career in Garland as a basketball coach and teacher, and graduated from Garland, went to Baylor, came back and taught in Garland for about 13, 14 years, and then moved around a little bit to be a principal. So
we feel like Sulphur Springs is very, very special.
I agree. One of the best. I've been a lot of great places, but this place is extremely special. I was very happy at all the places that I've been, but Sulphur Springs definitely has some unique characteristics. It is absolutely one of the most supported schools by the community. Has a great relationship with the community. I'm very fortunate in my 4 years to have one of the greatest staffs that I've ever worked with. I feel blessed and humbled each day to be a part of it. Some great administrators that I get to work with at the district level as well. Mr. Lamb, Mr. Williams, Mr. Hart, and Ms. Monk are awesome and very supportive, and we feel like they provide everything we need. I try to provide everything our teachers need, and like I said, most of our people up there for the students every day and go above and beyond in all that they do. So our counselors last night had financial aid aid night last night for our kids. That's something our counselors have started the last few years with FAFSA and all the financial aid that the seniors can get. I think that's been a very positive program for us. They also have coffee with the counselors where they answer questions for some other things. So like I said, lots of great things happening at school.
Well, I like to see the fact that school gets really involved in helping a student to make their choices for life.
Yes. The new, Ms. Arledge is our career and technology as well as our college-ready educator, and she does a fantastic job driving our, when she creates our CTE schedule, it's driven by student choice more than anywhere I've seen, and she does a fantastic job providing for those students' wants. And speaking of that, we do have our College Expo coming up on Monday at the Civic Center that we're a part of, and she has a big hand in that by getting the colleges in and scheduling the students through there. And our ninth, all of our grade levels get to go over there and spend some time. She works very hard on that as well as several other people, but she definitely spearheads that, and we were very fortunate those kids at the ninth grade level get the 10th grade level get a preview of what college possibilities and career possibilities are out there for them too. So,
and who is that person in charge of that?
Jenny Arledge. She is our career and technology administrator at the high school.
Okay, good to know. Well, coming up on this Friday is something very special.
Yes, Veterans Day this Friday. One of the coolest things we do. Mr. Williams, when he was principal, I believe, is the one who created and started this program. It has grown every year. A lot of student participation in it. We expect over 200 veterans to come join us. We have a reception starting at noon in the library. We try to think of everything that we can provide for those that serve for us. We're very grateful. We appreciate the fact they come up and celebrate with us, and we'll start our program at 1 in the big gym. And as I said, it's grown every year, and like I said, Mr. Williams started it when he was here, and he has overseen it ever since, and it just continues to grow and get better. Student councils involved, National Honor Society students, and just our culinary people do the reception with the food, and it's just on and on and on and on and on.
That is wonderful participation for something that, besides getting to know these individuals who are our veterans, setting a trend for remembering to honor those who came before us.
Absolutely. I think it's a great chance for the students to see these men and women who served, see the opportunity that's ahead for some of them, and also appreciate the sacrifice that all those people made for us to get to do what we want to do each day.
This was not always done in our school or in schools. It's just part, again, of how the community is blending in with school activities.
Absolutely. We have a great community support in all that we do. We feel like if we need anything that not provided through the district, the community provides it for us. Like I said, a lot of community members help us out with lots of our projects that we do. Mr. Lamb is currently doing a cultural a deal for the fourth grade, third and fourth grade kids at Douglas. I'm sorry, the fourth and fifth grade kids at Douglas, and kind of a gentleman's group, and they meet every so often, and they're teaching them some proper etiquette, proper manners, and there's lots of community donations for that to be successful, and lots of men in the community involved in that, and Mr. Lamb and several of the men in the community having a great impact. Judge Cummings has come and visited with our students a couple different times and brought various people up to talk to our high school students in regards to, just choices and not being a victim of your circumstance, and that there's a big future out there for you, and just providing another resource for them, allowing them to come see them if they need them, and hopefully interacting and mentoring and hopefully building a connection and allowing those students to grow.
That sounds wonderful. And as we already know, our community is strong Wildcat fans.
Yes, strong Wildcat fans. The support for all of our groups at all of our activities is outstanding. Again, the football season has been wonderful thus far, as well as the other academic and athletic events. Lots of parent involvement, lots of community involvement. We are thrilled. Again, love being in a one-school town, and again, even in this one-school town, the energy and support is beyond others that I've seen.
I love the way you put that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, will you come back again and tell us about the new year coming?
I will come back anytime you need me, Ms. Gay. I'm pleased that you let me come in this morning and brag about my people, and I have a great staff and awesome students, and I'm just happy to talk about them anytime.
Thank you, Principal Driver.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
The Wildcats football team wraps up district play at Forney against the North Forney Falcons Friday night. Then comes the playoffs with numerous scenarios for several teams. At his weekly media gathering Wednesday morning, Wildcats football coach Greg Owens talked about the Wildcats, the Falcons, and playoff possibilities.
I mean, this thing is it's a cluster right now. We don't know we're second, third, whatever. I mean, we could have a four-way tie. We could have a three-way tie. We could go head-to-head. There's just a lot of scenarios in our district for 2, 3, and 4 seeding. We cannot get worse than third, all right? But there's still all these scenarios. You still got 4 teams, I think, trying to get in and figure it all out. Forney still got a shot. Roy City's got a shot. Ennis has got a shot. And then, so it's really those 3 that are kind of outside looking in, because us and Kaufman and, of course, Canada's already in. So those other 3 fight for that 4th spot. And then you go the sister district we're going to play. You go all those. I mean, it's a thing. I've been talking to Todd Ford, the head coach at Lovejoy, and golly, it's a mess. I mean, it goes from Frisco High winning, being in, and getting second seed to losing and maybe being out. Depends on what happens. And they got a good football team. So we don't know. To answer your question, we don't know who we're going to play. We don't have a clue. I know Lovejoy. I feel like Lovejoy's in. There may be a scenario where they're not, but I think they're in. So you got Reedy, Lovejoy. You got a Frisco, a Denison, a Lake Dallas. That may be it over there. So that's their scenarios, and they're still trying to. And anybody could go to 2 to 4. So we don't know.
What's the importance of a big win going into the playoffs, kind of get that confidence back
Yeah.
and everything?
I mean, it's just playing well. I mean, that's the whole thing. The whole thing is just playing well, and it's a confidence thing of going, you don't want to go out there and go, well, maybe, what if, and, we don't want to be in the funk. So, I mean, we're challenging, turning up the heat a little bit in team settings and those things for kids focused and performing and, and getting that stuff right. So, I mean, I think it's everything. I think that's what athletics and sports is all about. It's about confidence. I don't care what level you play or what you're doing. You just pick any game. If you're confident what you can do, then your abilities just really kind of take over, and that's a key part of this whole thing in athletics.
Tell us about North Forney offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, I'll start there. I mean, they're really good up front. They junk it all up. Go back to that term I've used all year. They just do a lot of stuff up here and move around on you. And I'm not saying any of it's unsound. They just make it uncomfortable for you up front. Got a very good linebacker named Galen Brown. They call him a defensive end. He can stand up. He can put his hand down. They move him around quite a bit. And we're aware where he is all the time. I'll say that. And so our kids understand that. So we're trying to give help when we can for pass rush kind of situations and all that stuff. And we're aware of where he's at when we run the football and who's helping chip on him and those kind of things. So he's drawing a lot of attention. They just run around, kind of like our kiddos. They run around and make plays. They're physical up front. I mean, and we're going to see 2 different fronts again. I mean, we talk about that all the time too. It's an odd and an even, and our kids have seen that all year, and so hopefully we'll be used to it. And unless Randy pulls something crazy out of his hat, and he might do that too because he's got a lot of tricks. But they do that, and so impressed with them defensively and offensively. They've struggled a little bit too. They fought some injuries and some things, and they really haven't. He's not the offense he was a couple years ago when the kiddos that they had. So they're still searching for some identity. They had a quarterback get beat up pretty bad, and he's not playing quarterback anymore, except in a Wildcat situation. So they slide him out to a receiver, and they bring a sophomore kid in. And the sophomore kid's been doing a great job. He can really handle the football, do it well. He's not He's not a D1 kid that's just going to overwhelm you, but he can manage a ball game really well. And they run him enough to keep you honest. He throws fairly well, and then they're just giving it to the running backs and their guys and just working, and they got a huge offensive line. There's some big guys in there, and so they do what they do. You know, they tempo you more than we've seen anybody tempo this whole year. I'm not saying it's blazing fast speed, but it's quick. So they just, and that's, you know, that's kind of our deal too. You get somebody down, you kind of get going. That's kind of their philosophy. So they work that, and it's working really well for them. So I mean, we defensively can't be too complicated because of the tempo stuff. We just got to make plays, and tackles are going to put them in some third and longs and force them to do maybe what they don't want to do. They'd rather run. Their number one thing, they'd rather run the football. I don't know the percentages of that, but that's what they want to do first. And so that's what we got to stop.
Soto seems to be their main running. I'm not sure numbers or anything, but just looking in the newspaper clippings and seeing, he seemed to be their main option on rushing the football.
27.
That's not the quarterback.
He's 20. He's number 27. All right, and he's a junior. 32's carried the ball quite a bit too. He's listed on their roster as a defensive back, but they got some guys going both ways doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And there's another kiddo they run in there too. That they run, well, here's the whole thing with the deal. I've watched every film from the beginning of the season to the end. So then you start looking, okay, the last 3 games, who's the guy that's really carried the ball? 27's been the main one. 32 still comes in and runs. And so those are the kind of main two. 32 Smith, Bryce Smith.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. And they even, I mean, they may bring another kiddo in there too. I can't remember. I don't know if 33, and that might have been an early game. I'm thinking about him some. But they just kind of had some auditions, it looks like, or some guys filling in.
Running backs
they worked them through. And so, but 27's kind of calmed down. So they run him, and then they'll mix him with the quarterback, 15. And then they've done a nice job.
The Wildcats basketball team had their second and last scrimmage of the season Tuesday at Longview. The Wildcats opened the regular season on Saturday. I talked with Wildcats basketball coach Clark Cipolletta about the scrimmage and more.
We had our ups and downs. I thought we came out a little flat, didn't really bring a whole lot of energy that we needed to play with. We were just kind of up and then back down. We got a lot of good, but we also have found out some stuff we need to work on as well. So just one of those typical Tuesday scrimmages.
Did you win this one?
Technically, you could say we won by 1, but it wasn't really like a score kept. It was kind of just more situational type stuff, and just a breakdown in the quarters, and then JV would play some, and then back to varsity. So there's really not a winner or loser. You're just kind of learning those things and just trying to get valuable minutes out of it.
Yeah, the main thing, you just want to get the guys out there and see what they look like, let everybody play and all that.
For sure, and Longview does a really good job. They kind of run a funky zone that we might see once or twice a year. So it's hard when you don't have a whole lot of time to prepare for them, and it's in a scrimmage format. So we were a little bit behind offensively just in some of our zone stuff, but they did a really good job of making it difficult on us, and they did a good job offensively too. They run a whole lot of sets, and they really make you guard some actions, and really broke us down at times. So like I said, just gave us something that we need to work on to get better.
Who impressed you on your team?
You know, it's always going to be the team. I thought Xavier played really well. They had a big kid who's really athletic, can really jump, and I thought Xavier held his own. I thought Roland gave us some huge minutes in that starting position. Day, just some big boards. Keyston was knocking down some shots early on. And I thought just some guys that came off the bench just kind of brought some energy when we were kind of lacking in those areas. So team pretty much impressed me as a group.
Now you opened the season Saturday, Plano East, I believe, and are you ready?
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell everybody we're not ready yet, but we'll be ready by Saturday. We still have a lot of stuff that we need to work on, and Plano East is a very athletic team. We just got a couple more films on them this morning, so we'll really sit down and kind of break down what we need to do in order to try to be successful against them. But I know we'll have our hands full. They have a really big kid who's super athletic, dunks everything, and they have some really big guards with them, and they like to play really fast and up tempo, and they're going to press you the whole game, and they're going to throw some weird zones at you as well. So we'll have our hands full, but hopefully we'll get it together and put on a good showing come Saturday.
Best of luck in North Crowley
Yes, actually, we're going to play at Crowley High. So it's that they play at North Crowley and they play at Crowley. It's just kind of like a 10-team showdown type of deal. So we'll be in the Crowley High School gym at 4 o'clock, and our JV will get to play before us at 2 o'clock. So it'll be a good day of basketball. We get to see a lot of good teams as well there because it's a showcase. And like I said, hopefully we come to play.
With all the people that travel to watch the Wildcats, I want to know which gym to go to.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that would be important. So we'd be in the Crowley High School gym at 4 o'clock, the varsity 2 o'clock, the sub-varsity.
The Saltillo Lady Lions opened this basketball season with a road loss at Lone Oak, 50-45 on Tuesday. The Lady Lions were led by Brittany Peoples, who scored 11 points. Anna Reeder scored 9. Maddie Smith, Chandler Bain, and Jocelyn Ochoa all had 7 points, and Paisley Kastner scored 4. The Lady Lions, 0-1 for the season, have their home opener against Como-Picton on Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Colton Smith is the Lady Lions head basketball coach. The Lady Lions JV on Tuesday downed Lone Oak 18-13 in their first game of the season.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.
Sounds like crowd noise. All right.
Let's go.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
Every time he's going to say all right.
So it's important to note that we still have a few corporate donations that are outstanding. We expect them to be very substantial, very significant, so it's important to note that. But it's also very important to note that we hit our goal. It is with great satisfaction that I announce that we are at $165,736.80 through today. And as I mentioned, there's at least one other corporation that I'm aware of that we expect or anticipate a lofty donation, and then like I said, I personally have at least one more that's out that I expect to come through. So there will be a few more that will trickle in. That's just kind of gravy on the biscuit here on out. So we did meet our goal. Pat yourself on the back. Very good job. If you see volunteers out, if you see volunteers in your workplace that you know are contributing, that you know are volunteering their time, give them a high five and tell them thank you for what they've done. You know, everything from the beginning, from the volunteer luncheon that we had, to Coach Carl coming to speak, to the corporations. If you see the corporations or businesses that are out, small businesses, large businesses, I know they contribute, I know they get a sticker, but it's also good to go back and say thank you one more time if you see them out, just that second time. It'll keep them coming back. So thank y'all very much for what you do. This is very, very exciting for me. I don't have a whole lot to compare it to, but it's very exciting.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Right. So how many former chairs are in the room? Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
Yep. That just speaks to United Way, in my opinion. It just, folks are coming back and see the value of what we're doing.
Did you say this is better than your marriage day? Is what you said? What?
I'll speak with you privately, right?